Texas at Ohio State, noon Eastern kickoff on Fox. I've got a forecast. Let's go 68 degrees at kickoff. Let's call that. We're still a few days away. We're going to be there. The Fall Don't Lie Tour is going to be there. I'll be on the sidelines for this game. I cannot wait. Last time I was at Ohio Stadium, it was 21 degrees at kickoff. So I will take this, and I'll take it in short sleeves, immunity. Let's set the table. This is number 1 versus number 2 in the odds to win the national championship. This is number 1 versus number 2 in the JP poll. And these are two teams that don't return a whole lot of production. 81st and 89th in returning production. It doesn't even matter who's who. These are not normal teams. Okay? I know a lot of times in preview magazine culture, you can sort of get lost in the sauce, so to speak, and you can think all returning starters are created equal and all new starters are created equal. All I can tell you is watch warm-ups. I know most of you don't have access to practice, but if you could go watch these teams practice, you'd look at Texas's guys, you look at Ohio State's guys, and you'd say, who's that? And they'd say, oh, that's a new starter. And the reason you asked who's that is because he looks like a second, third-year NFL guy. They're everywhere. So not all new starters are created equal is my point, which means a game like this with this blend of raw talent and this blend of uncertainty means you could have any outcome imaginable. It could be 21-19 either way. It could be 38-20 either way. There is probably no result outside of like 50-10 that would shock me in this game. I think Ohio State needs to find out, though. There's going to be a lot of talk about Arch Manning here. There's going to be a lot of talk about Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs. There should be. Ryan Wingo needs to get a lot of mention. But fundamentally, the key to this game is Ohio State's got to find out. And what they got to find out is, did Texas really rebuild the interior of that defensive line like everyone says they did? Because you can talk in spring, you can talk in fall camp. But what happens if you run it between the tackles and you're running it for 6.5, 7 yards per carry in the first quarter, midway through the second quarter, and you start to realize, wow, the easiest way to ease Julian Sayin into a season is 2nd and 3, after 2nd and 3, after 2nd and 3. Boy, that's really favorable to ease a new quarterback into a season. Now, I say that, and you need to understand, yes, we got 2 Ohio State tailbacks that departed to the NFL as well. So Peoples and Donaldson, we don't know what we're going to get from them. I can tell you that staff thinks a lot of them. But, Florida State staff thought a lot of their players last year, and they were dead in the water. I don't think it's going to be Ohio State this year. But the point is, you don't know. You don't know until live bullets start flying, and it's those guys' turn. Well, it's their turn now. Just like on the other side of the ball. It's Texas's interior defensive line. It's their turn now. Can they stand up against the run? Because if they can, then we start to ask the other questions. It's probably the question that's going to lead the broadcast. It'll be the question on most people's minds. It's the quarterback question. But the way I think about the quarterback matchup here is I think about the QB1, wide receiver 1 pairings. So I got Julian Sayin, I got Jeremiah Smith, who's the best player in America to me. I got Arch Manning, I got Ryan Wingo, who doesn't take a back seat to very many besides this dude at Ohio State. Is there a huge gap between those? Or if that's a wash, shouldn't I expect Ohio State to own this side of the matchup card? Because I look at Ohio State beyond Jeremiah Smith, and I got Tate, and I got Ennis, and I got Claire, the tight end transfer, I believe, from Purdue. They got pass catchers there that you won't even hear a whole lot about this Saturday that would start many places that are expected to compete for playoff spots. But then on the other side, downstream of Ryan Wingo, I got Moore, I got Livingstone, I got those tight end transfers at Texas. My point is, I look at that and I think, hey man, even if Texas gets a lot out of Ryan Wingo, just like Ohio State probably will out of Jeremiah Smith, I really like Ohio State's receivers. I like their pass catchers downstream of their QB1, wide receiver 1. But this is Texas. It's Steve Sarkisian. So they grow those guys on trees there to the point where one way this game could get crooked in a way that I don't expect it, I can't see it coming, is Arch has already got 275 passing yards late in the third quarter, and I've got 3 or 4 different guys with 60 plus on the board. We'll get back to the video 1 second. Do me one quick favor. Look down. Make sure you're subscribed. Most of you are. If you're not, please do so. It's the way we keep the channel free, we keep the videos coming, and we get to do college football year-round as God intended. All right, as promised, back to the video. That's the kind of thing that could happen. It's a variable. Quarterback, and then the other one is pass rush. Texas's pass rush is unmatched nationally. And they got to earn the right to get there. That's why I led with the point of stopping the run. So Texas has got to earn the right to get there, but once they earn the right to rush the passer, which doesn't have to be third down for them, by the way, these dudes are on the field a lot. When Texas gets after the quarterback, which they will a lot this year, it's not one guy. Like if Colin Simmons was on your team, he would be on the face of your program. But if Anthony Hill was on your team, he'd also be on the face of your program. And I got news for you. If Trey Moore was on your team, he'd probably be on the face of your program. Colton Vasek would probably be on the face of your program if he played for you. And they got all of them. So it could be that nobody's moving the ball particularly well. And those guys end up turning the game around. And it's the kind of thing that Brian Hartline, for being a first-time play caller, may not deal with but one or two times the rest of his career. It's just a very hellacious pass rush. Now, again, you run the ball right at him successfully, it neutralizes a lot of that. That's why the million-dollar question is, can you run the ball at him successfully? I'm going to repeat this before I give you our prediction and what the model thinks. The range of potential outcomes couldn't be wider here. There will be a lot of people from Austin, Texas, and Columbus Saturday. And you'll walk around outside the stadium and you'll see the sights. It's a great place to go. It's an awesome place to visit. And you'll talk amongst yourselves, and you'll say things like, hey, where y'all from? Abilene? Oh, yeah, man, we're from Ashtabula. Happy to have y'all here. Boy, it should be a great game either way today. You don't know that. You don't know this is going to be a great game. This could be a blowout your way. It could be a blowout their way. You have two of the most loaded talent rosters in America, and you got a ton of uncertainty. When you throw those ingredients in the blender, you could spit out 21-20. You could spit out 41-13. Someone's minus 3 turnovers. Someone has a career day and sets up their Heisman campaign. All this stuff's on the table. That's why I think the padlock stat in this game will be explosive plays. Let's take a look at what the model thinks. The model thinks that the line is right, if not a little bit tighter. FanDuel, Ohio State minus 2.5. Our model has Ohio State minus 1. I'm going to tell you where I think the edge is in this game that I have not mentioned yet, but I've mentioned several times over the summer. And that is, for all the respect I have for Matt Patricia, he hadn't done this. For all the respect I got for Brian Hartline, I got a ton of it. He hadn't done this. Texas has got one of the best staffs in the country, and they got continuity on that staff, and I trust them to go on the road here. I actually don't have a ton of trust in anything in this game, but I'm going to lean Texas to win the game outright Saturday. I think Sark needs the game more, by the way. That's sort of a storyline thing. We don't do a ton of that on this show, but I just envision a world where Texas goes in there and wins. That's all right. That's all right. Ohio State just won a national title. Lick your wounds, regroup. You may see them again down the road, and you got your entire conference slate to get ready for. You're fine. You're fine. Like nothing's ruined. And nothing would be ruined for Texas either. Here's the difference. If they go and they lose this game, they've still got the rest of their season to play, but it becomes this little bullet in the chamber. And it's still in the holster. Like you're not ready to fire on anyone yet, but you start to get yourself ready to say, now hold on a second. If he loses another game in the regular season, hold on a second. You got beat by DeBoer in the playoff, and then you had 2 shots against Kirby last year, and you went 0 for 2 there, and now we lost to Ryan Day in the playoff last year. Now we got another shot at him. Should have been the revenge game, and they got new everything up there, new coaches, and we couldn't get the job done against them either. We're having trouble against big-time coaches. They start questioning Steve Sarkisian. I think Sark needs the game more.